Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we got a monster skill balance patch to go over. There were a couple water changes that are actually really huge that I want to talk about. But first, real quick, I've actually been experimenting a bit with the way I record my footage now, so you might be able to notice I can move myself over the screen. Ooh. Now I'm over here, and then I'm over here. It should, going forward, help me just make better content editing, and I'm really looking forward to how I'm going to be able to improve my videos with that. So, look forward to that. But now that I got this figured out, you can definitely expect some more videos again. There's been a couple ideas I've been cooking up, and especially with some of these new changes, I want to try out and see if these ideas work. So I'm going to try to keep this quick. I'm probably going to skip through most of these that don't affect me as a water only account. So we don't really care too much about the Art Fire Art Master. The Wind Sky Surfer, this is technically going to help me out a little bit, but frankly, I think this unit is just really gross, and a 10% nerf on the attack bar increase isn't going to change anything. We do have a buff to the Water Dokkaebi Lord, so now his third skill recovers all allies' HP by 30% instead of 20. I really liked this unit before the nerf, and ever since they nerfed him, he doesn't gain attack bar and skill 3 anymore. It really gutted his cycling. And now I really don't like him as much. I still think he's a good unit, but it's been really disappointing trying him out afterwards now. He used to be so good. And then we have the Water Bison. The damage increase that allies gain in proportion to the enemy's destroyed HP has been increased. Now I'm very interested to see how much of an impact this is going to be, because currently his passive decreases the damage your team receives and increases the damage that enemies receive based on destroyed HP. So this could add up to be a lot in PvP. This is pretty much a PvP focused buff, because I don't think you can even destroy HP in PvE. At least not for bosses. I am hoping that eventually they will buff this guy to change his 1-turn defense break on skill 2 to a 2-turn defense break. Because I think the 1 is just, it's already gone by the time you apply it. Okay, and then we have a buff to the 5-star Water Nobara. It changed her, I think it's her third skill, attacks all enemies now 4 times instead of 3 times. It doesn't change the damage, but it should apply a lot more of the debuffs. I want to say she's the one who applies dots on skill 3. So this should be good for applying a bunch more of those. Unfortunately, I don't have her, so I can't try out this change, but we'll see if it's good. And then the Water Dice Magician Reno. He is one of the worst 4 stars in the game. I'm like very convinced he's terrible. He got 2 buffs. Honestly, I feel like they're going to be a bit nothing of a change, like a nothing burger change. But I might try him out again and see if he's going to be any good now. They basically made it so that the number of harmful effects granted by the sum range has been changed. So the higher the dice, the more debuffs he puts out for skill 2. And then his third skill, the Dice Madness, now rolls a 5th dice instead of 4 dices. So in theory, you get increased chances to roll doubles, which then ignore defense. But his skill is just so inconsistent. Unless this adds, like, significantly more damage since there's an extra dice, I don't see this guy being good. And then we did have a big, like, pass over a lot of the ways that attack bar increase works on units. I believe for these water changes, I think, if I'm reading this correctly, the attack bar increases from these monster skills will be changed to increase by 100% or more. I believe this means that their attack bar can actually go past 100% for increasing now. I think that's kind of how they were reworking it. I think it's going to be relatively the same, but it might just mean that they can absorb past their attack bar, and either that gives them attack bar for the next turn, or it just lets them try to get past, like, the tick rates. Because once you get to 100% attack bar, whoever has more attack bar on top of that is what goes next. That's kind of how that works in this game. Okay, and then we had actually a third buff for the Water Dice Magician. They have changed his leader skill. He no longer gives crit rate, he now gives attack power. And I will say this actually is an important change, because his third skill, if he rolls a double, the double ignore defense will be a guaranteed crit. It made having crit chance as a leader skill, like, there was no point in having crit chance. And then we have a leader skill change, or I guess an addition actually. So the Water Chung Li now gets increase the accuracy of ally monsters and guild content by 40%. I don't think this is going to be like any kind of game changer for her, but at least it's something. I don't think she had a leader skill before this, so it's an improvement. Oh, one really big nerf to me that I want to talk about is the Wind Monkey King. They changed his leader skill from being increase the HP of all allies by 33% to now increases attack speed of ally monsters by 24%. This is just a global attack speed increase. This is going to be really gross in RTA because I am already a Wind Monkey King hater in RTA because he really counters my arena team. So this is going to make it even worse to deal with when I'm trying to make a speed team and the enemy's able to draft this guy now as a speed lead to counter me. So that's going to be a really huge nerf. Okay, and then finally, let's get to the big change of this balance patch, something I am really, really looking forward to. The Water Weapon Master has now had an AI improvement. His third skill, Unlimited Power, will now always be used first when there are 3 or fewer enemies. This is actually a huge change for the unit. Because typically, your plan is to use this guy in dungeons to one-shot the boss once you get him down to 50% HP. The biggest thing with this guy was that his third skill was unreliable unless you got the boss down to 30% HP, and then he was guaranteed to use it, because that's kind of how just AI works in this game. So this is a really, really big change, because now you're always guaranteed to use it when the enemy is actually even above 50% HP. So the amount of damage that you actually need for this guy to be consistent has been lowered for the rest of your team. You just have to try to get the boss down to 50% HP, and then pretty much this guy just one-shots everything else. So this makes the Water Weapon Master now one of the best damage dealers for dungeon speed teams. I expect to see this guy used like almost everywhere. He is used pretty much everywhere, but even more reliably so now. And there actually is a team that I have been theory crafting, which this skill change now enables. Because before the team was a bit unreliable, this adds so much reliability to the team I was thinking of. So I cannot wait for this change to come out. And I already used this guy in Dragons, but this makes him a lot more reliable in Giants as well. So I gotta say, out of all the balance patches we've had lately, this is definitely the best change I have seen for water units. I'm very, very happy for this. So if you don't have the Water Weapon Master already, I definitely recommend you prioritize getting him. He is a huge game changer for how you play the game. Like, this is going to be a huge buff even for R5. Like, super, super consistent buff for R5 now. It's really, really amazing. All right, but I think I will wrap it up there. Let me know what you think about this change in the comments down below. What kind of team comps are you going to be using this Water Weapon Master in now that they have added this skill change? And I do want to say real quick, thank you for those who have stuck around the channel for, as I've gone through my days of maybe not posting as much as I should. I plan to get a bit more on top of that for video content wise. Now that I have this new recording setup going, I think it'll be really nice. And I definitely have some ideas that I want to make and plan. I just mostly felt like I did everything that I could already in Summonerswar, so I kind of ran out of some content ideas, but I have a couple more now that I plan on making and posting. And if you want to see some content in the meantime, I do stream on Twitch and YouTube pretty much almost every day. So, and if you do want to talk more about Summonerswar content and ideas, I do have a section for that in my Discord server, which should be, I think, in the description down below. But thanks for stopping by. I will see you all in the next one, and good night and goodbye, everybody. All right, bye-bye.